Hello, my friends. I'm very excited today because I finally get to do a video with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which has been one of my most anticipated games of this year. I really enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order, and by all accounts, Respawn has done a great job of building on and expanding on what Fallen Order did to create an even better sequel, with a couple of small missteps, including the performance, which has dampened my enthusiasm a little bit. Today's video you will see with the maximum best quality graphics, 4K native resolution, all the graphics on epic settings, even ray tracing turned on. It is punishing even on my system, and there's definitely some optimization that needs to be done there, but it looks amazing. You know what else looks amazing though? These amazing t-shirts from this video's sponsor, Into the AM. Into the AM are sellers of elevated everyday apparel. You know what that means? It means that their clothing not only looks incredible with beautiful, exclusively licensed art, but also feels amazing, super comfortable to wear, and is really easy to take care of. I wear their stuff pretty much every day, not even joking. And it's not even just their graphic tees, which I love very much. It's also their sweats, it's also their shorts, it's also their underwear. It's all really comfortable and it all looks really, really good. You can find amazing designs like this. I wore this out today, actually, and I kid you not, I received a compliment on it today. I was out for lunch with my dear mother, and a fellow from the table next door to us, as they were leaving, came by and said, "Hey, I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to let you know that you win the award for the coolest t-shirt in this place." He said it caught his eye the second I walked in. And this is not actually the first time that someone has come up to me at a restaurant and said this. And the last time this happened, I asked you guys if it would have been weird for me to have given that individual my discount code, which you can find down below at the top of the video description, because it would have saved them 10% on their entire order at Into the AM. And so I thought about it this time in the split second where that fellow walked up and said that, and I got cold feet. I did not give him my discount code, and he did not save 10% on amazing, elevated everyday apparel at Into the AM. But you, my friends, you can. I give you that opportunity. So once again, you can find my link and my discount code down below in the video description. It will save you 10% off your entire order at Into the AM, from their amazing graphic tees to their very comfortable joggers and underwear and everything in between. Fantastic clothes, amazing deal. Make sure you go check it out. They're getting in new designs all the time, and I'm sure you will find something that you love. A big thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's go check out Jedi Survivor with our friend Cal Kestis. Hello, my friends. It's Nick, the ASMR nerd, and welcome to the bustling metropolis of Coruscant in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We have here Cal Kestis, rogue Jedi, and his buddy BD1, an adorable droid companion. today we are going to be joining these characters for a relaxing stroll across the rooftops of level 2046. Level 2046 is just one of thousands of levels here on Coruscant. Coruscant is, of course, the capital of the galaxy. It is the center of galactic politics in Star Wars, center of galactic trade. It is effectively the center of galactic society, and as such, it is inhabited by trillions of beings from across the galaxy. The entire world is covered by one massive city, a so-called ecumenopolis, a world-spanning city, and has been so for thousands of years. This was, of course, the seat of the Galactic Republic for over a millennium, and at the time of Jedi Survivor, it is now the seat of the Galactic Empire, and as such, it has earned the name the Imperial City. Level 2046, where we find ourselves today, is a mid-level part of the city. Way up above, in the far heights, is where the rich and powerful make their homes and businesses. But down here, in the Undercity, things are a bit dingier. Here we find industrious business people and laymen, everyday workers, in addition to the more destitute and desperate of Coruscant. Of course, even further down in the true Undercity, the real dangers lurk. But 2046 is in just the right level to be interesting, visually stunning, and full of fascinating sights and sounds. We have, of course, all this traffic, thousands and thousands of ships and speeders crisscrossing the sky, making their way from one place to another. And of course, as I said, far up above is the upper city, full of its aristocrats and politicians. That big hole in the ceiling over there is where one descends from the upper city to get into these mid-levels of Coruscant. We begin our wander today perched on a rooftop. Nor is it. There are so many roofs and floors and structures. It's nearly impossible to know where one thing starts and another stops. But we're going to call it a rooftop. around us are all kinds of pipes and fans, neon signs. Oh, and would you look over there? A couple of scout troopers. Looks like they haven't seen us though, because if they had, they would probably have a thing or two to say about it. Cal and BD1 are, let's just say, wanted by the Empire. The Empire does not take kindly to surviving Jedi during this era, or any era, really, for that matter. Across the way from us here, we can see the ramshackle construction of this part of the city. Hundreds and hundreds of what look to be prefab containers, small dwellings, stacked one upon the other in this messy, rickety looking construction. But it's what the people here do to survive and get by. Now, this is a very early point in the game, very early, and there won't be any significant story spoilers in this video, other than the fact that you begin the game on Coruscant, I suppose, and Cal and BD are here. But that should be about it. We'll be looking at some environments and maybe a couple of spots that give away the locations of chests or other collectibles, but not too much. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. Love the skyscrapers in the distance, despite the fact that we are far underground. There's a whole stratum of skyscrapers that exists below the skyscrapers in the upper city, and these are equally remarkable, quite striking in their design. The one just to the right of Cal there in the distance has a almost Art Deco look about it, whereas the one right in front of him here has an almost brutalist aesthetic. Just imagine the unfathomable amount of resources required to build a city like this. We are in just one small portion of a planet-spanning metropolis. We'll have to do a little bit of platforming to navigate this area, such as jumping here. And there'll be a little bit of running along some pipes and balancing and such. But I assure you, it's all quite safe. No need to worry. Look at all these cables, power cables running around. Gosh, imagine trying to provide power to a city like this. Or any kind of resources for that matter, any sort of utility. Where do they get their water? What happens to their waste? It boggles the mind. Here's a cozy looking little corner. A couple of comfy chairs, bottles, some somebody was out here enjoying a drink. And here's one of the windows, which we can see all over the place actually. We look back where we came, across the way. All of these octagonal windows. I think they're octagonal. Didn't actually count the segments. Why don't we do that here? Yeah, they're octagonal. Quite reminiscent of the insignia of the Empire, in fact. And also of the cockpits of TIE fighters. Doesn't that look just like the front window in a TIE fighter cockpit? The lighting here is quite impressive. In fact, all the graphics are quite impressive. It is a gorgeous game, and in the cutscenes, it verges on the uncanny valley, where every once in a while, your brain gets momentarily tricked into thinking it's looking at something real. Of course, all of that comes at an immense performance cost, and you might be aware, if you're watching this shortly after it comes out, there's a bit of controversy around the dismal performance of this game on PC. Even very, very powerful hardware struggles to run this game at 60 FPS. My PC is no exception, but I wanted to give you the most beautiful experience possible here, so I do have all of the graphics turned up, including ray tracing. I'm not quite certain what the ray tracing implementation in this game does. I would guess shadows, perhaps reflections and ambient occlusion. I'm not sure if it has ray traced global illumination. I don't think it does. But whatever the case, you are seeing the game at its best, its most cinematic. BD poking over the shoulder there. I like watching Cal's idle animations. Not that he's doing anything right now, but you've probably noticed. He fidgets. He swings his arms around. Every once in a while he slaps at a bug. And of course, BD1 on his back is doing his own thing. He's very adorable. BD is one of my favorite characters in the game, or in the previous game, Jedi Fallen Order. But no doubt in this one too. I was just noticing, look at the detail here. You've got moths fluttering around this light here. Something you don't really think too much about, but this city that spans an entire planet is an ecosystem in its own right, and probably has all kinds of fascinating creatures that are adapted to the many niches that exist even in such an artificial place. Looks like some sort of crazy antenna just thrown together, rusting away. Of course, have all kinds of garbage all over the ground. There are many squatters who live here, trying to eke out an existence in the mid-levels of the city, lest they get forced down into the Undercity, where crime syndicates and wild beasts make for a dangerous existence. I remember reading novels, which are now part of the Legends canon, I suppose, but they were part of the formal extended universe once upon a time. And they talked about the horrors that lurk in the depths of Coruscant. And of course, older games as well, the likes of Knights of the Old Republic gave us a taste of the Coruscant Undercity. But not like this. This is, without a doubt, the most beautiful we've ever seen Coruscant looking in a game. Let's go up here. The audio scape is also fascinating, full of somewhat unsettling creaks and groans, distant sounds of shifting metal. Oh, here we get a subtle drip drop of water from this pipe above us. I remember the Coruscant Undercity being described as damp, which makes perfect sense. Think about all the water that's going to be leaking, dripping, raining, flowing down into those lower levels, feeding whatever ecosystems exist down there. Not just water, but waste, probably. And of course, moving air is a challenge in an environment like this as well. And so we have units like this trying to keep the air circulating down here, or perhaps cooling some kind of machinery. It does look like there's some kind of steam or smoke coming out of this one, and what could be a big old heat sink behind it. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of tightrope walking here, but as I said, don't you worry, it's perfectly safe. Cal is a Jedi, after all. And at this point, we're actually going to have to swing from the pipe. Don't look down. It's a long way down there. Perhaps I should have given a acrophobia trigger warning at the start. But I promise we won't fall. Cal is quite nimble. Here we have a meditation point where Cal can rest, regenerate, level up, all that good stuff. The meditation points are actually quite pretty. I like the pattern. They have sort of an ethereal look to them. And when Cal meditates, something I really like that they've added in this game is you still see the surrounding environment around the meditation point, but it gets all foggy and sort of misty. It's a nice effect. Here we have a good example of what I suspect are the ray traced shadows. You can see Cal is casting a very soft shadow, which will be based on his distance from the ground and the light source's distance from Cal. I'm just assuming that's what's happening there, but it looks that way. All manner of garbage and junk is scattered around these environments. I don't know what this is. Looks like some kind of air conditioning unit, maybe. But the level of detail here on the Coruscant level 246 or 2046 rooftops is incredible. Like I said, we've never seen Star Wars looking this amazing in an interactive medium before. This was spewing a bunch of water. It's a massive pipe contributing to the dampness of the Undercity. But Cal closed the valve using the force, which allows us to go for a little jump across this chasm. Once again, if you are sensitive to heights, maybe close your eyes. But Cal is a Jedi. We should be fine. Voila. Even did it in style with a flip. This gives us a view of another portion of the city here. Or perhaps actually just down back to where we were. Let's jump over to the next platform. We can get a better perspective. Here we go. Easy peasy. Like the way Cal's hair reacts when we land. It's quite realistic. There, we can get a good view down now. Look at that dramatic lighting down there. All those pipes carrying what? Water, air, waste, perhaps all of the above, depending on the pipe, although hopefully not all together. Yes, I do believe we did begin our wander just down there on the edge of that roof, right above Cal's head. If we look into the distance, yeah, we can see those buildings we saw to start with. This reminds me of another Star Wars game that I loved back in the day, and that was Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, the original Jedi Knight game that gave you a lightsaber. You played as Kyle Katarn, who, well, didn't start off as a Jedi, but he did end up that way. In some ways, the Jedi series now, Jedi Fallen Order and now Jedi Survivor, are spiritual successors to the Jedi Knight series. Different, but reminiscent in some ways. And in Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, you begin on another vast metropolis, the moon city of Nar Shaddaa, which is in the same system and I believe orbiting the planet of Nalhutta, where the infamous Hutts are from, like Jabba the Hutt. And that metropolis, Nar Shaddaa, had a similar feel to this rendition of Coruscant. That was a little bit iffy. But Cal made it. Once more. There. A little easier. But it got me thinking I would love to see those Jedi Knight games remastered with this kind of graphical fidelity. Nar Shaddaa looking like this would be incredible. And as a matter of fact, there is a modder doing something kind of like that, rebuilding Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight in the Unreal Engine, which I believe this is. I think this is Unreal Engine 4 that we're seeing here. And this modder, I believe Rupertal is his name. I'll put a link to his Patreon down below in the video description because he's done a remarkable job with the first level of the game so far. And you can actually download it for free and check it out if you're so inclined. If you have fond memories of the original Jedi Knight. This stack here, these look like gonk droids, don't they? They have the same shape, but no legs. They're just like the stacked up bodies of gonk droids. Fascinating. All right. Why don't we carry on up a bit, get another vantage point. Cal kind of clambers up things like a monkey. In the original, the first game, Jedi Fallen Order, he starts off climbing very slow. But eventually you do get an upgrade that helps him climb faster. Here in Jedi Survivor, Cal climbs quickly right off the bat, which I really appreciate. That seems to be a general trend in this game. Most of the abilities that Cal obtained over the course of Fallen Order, he gets right off the bat here in Jedi Survivor, which I appreciate very much. Certainly makes gameplay a bit more varied and lively from the get-go, and makes traversal less tedious. For example, another thing that Cal could not do at the beginning of Jedi Fallen Order was the Jedi flip, but here we can do it right away. Another great example of the soft shadowing here being cast by this light to our right. And another cozy corner. Somebody here was writing a lot of graffiti all over the floor. And also having a drink. Honestly, not a bad vantage point for enjoying the slums. That vessel came by very close. Looks like there's a lane right above us here. It gives us a great spot for seeing all of the speeders. Maybe that's why the person put their chair here. I say person. I suppose that could refer to humans or aliens. There are untold numbers of species living here on Coruscant. As the metropolitan center of the galaxy, I imagine you can find pretty much every sentient species here. Although, it is said and argued about by historians that Coruscant is in fact the home planet of humanity in the galaxy. Although I'm not sure if anyone knows for sure. Look at all the cables up there. Once again, I have to imagine moving power around on such a planet is an impossible task, or seemingly impossible. Then again, I'm sure they have very advanced artificial intelligences, incredibly powerful computers that can manage all of that, and of course droids to do the work, the manual labor. Some interesting nets holding, looks like machine parts up here. Not sure why. They're just hanging there, but there they are. What do you suppose this logo means? I don't know. Of course, as much as this is the seedier part of Coruscant, full of, lowlifes and criminals, in addition to the everyday citizens trying to get by, the Empire still does have a presence here, as we saw earlier with the scout troopers. And some Imperial nobility, aristocrats, do find level 2046 to be a convenient place to do shady business away from prying eyes. Look at Cal's stance as he walks up here. He's got quite the stance. Like the shadows cast by the cables above us here. Look at the texture on these Duracrete walls. All pitted and pockmarked, stained with water and dust. They've done an incredible job of rendering Coruscant, especially this mid-level of Coruscant, looking just as dingy and dirty and ramshackle as you could hope for. You ready to squeeze through a tight space? Signature move in the series. Now here we get another incredible view. Look at all these speeders. This is a slightly different angle than we had before. that building is out there still, but there's also something else, some other skyscrapers and towers over there that look different yet again. We get some more neon signs. Got to Cal's left is a neon sign featuring an Ithorian. An Ithorian. Now I don't read Orbesh, the alphabet used here, so I don't know what that sign says. I'm sure someone could translate it if they wanted. But Ithorians are a almost druidic, peace-loving species, so maybe it's something to do with that. Although the neon lighting seems a little out of place. Did you see BD just tap our shoulder? Trying to get our attention. Maybe he was just trying to get a rise out of Cal. Some interesting spinny thingies over there. Who knows what those are? Of course, right near this transit lane, we can get a really good view of these vessels passing us. All manner of ships. Got an Imperial symbol across the way on that red flashing sign. Again, I don't know exactly what it says, but I bet it's something about a lockdown or doing your Imperial duties. Look at these pipes down here. These look like they might be carrying fuel or something. They have a look of a refinery about it. And over here, we have more Imperials. A cluster of stormtroopers waits down below. They won't notice us though. All the enemies in this game have terrible eyesight. They can barely see further than 30 feet in front of them. And over there, to Cal's left, a scout trooper and a stormtrooper. Just hanging out, chatting. I don't think they expect a rogue Jedi to show up. Unfortunate for them. Lucky for Cal, though. Well, my friends, I do think that this is where we are going to end our wander today. I know it was a brief glimpse of only a very small portion of Coruscant. But, like I said, it's only the very beginning of the game, and I am trying to keep things as spoiler-free as possible. And yet, even here, in this tiny little section of this incredible Ecumenopolis, there is so much to see, so much detail packed in by the level designers. So many things you notice and appreciate when you take the time to slow down and just look. And this is also not an open world game, so only small portions of the world are, or of any world, any planet, are rendered. But I gather it is more open than the previous game, Fallen Order. There are some areas that are open world-ish. I don't know if we get that freedom here on Coruscant eventually. But even this glimpse that we've seen here so far has been fascinating and really, really good looking. It's just too bad that it doesn't run a little bit better. Perhaps they will fix that yet. I hope so. But at any rate, for now, we're going to end our wander. Thank you so much for joining me in this Jedi Survivor relaxing wander. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see more of this game in this fashion, slow and appreciating the details, please feel free to let me know down below in the video comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to having you along for another wander next time. Farewell for now, my friends. And just as the Jedi were the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy, so too are these amazing supporters the guardians of peace and justice here on this YouTube channel. Or at the very least, the guardians of helping me make the kinds of videos that I like to make and that hopefully you like to watch. I appreciate the generous contributions of all of our Patreon and YouTube supporters whose names you can see here. And if you, dear viewer, would like to join this illustrious group, you can do so. You can check out the links down below in the video description for both Patreon and YouTube, and you will get some fun perks while you're at it, such as early access to my weekend videos and a credit here in each video. There is one tier, however, a very special tier, that gets a very special spoken shout out in each of my videos, and that is the Fusro Da tier. Now I'm just picturing a bunch of dragonborn Jedi, and it's epic. That's very epic. I'm sure you can get a lightsaber mod for Skyrim, although I've never actually looked into it. But anyway, our Fusro Da dragonborn Jedi for this video are Drummer Brit, Angel Garcia, Blacktooth Bob, Jake Luffney, Rango Steele, Ragnar Ragnarsson, James C., Captain Vanquisher, and Dragoon 88. That certainly is an epic list of names to strike fear into the heart of any Sith. Once again, thank you to our Fusro Da tier supporters and all of our supporters on Patreon and YouTube. I appreciate it so very, very much.